Welcome back to the Derailed podcast, a Comic Crazy Game Time podcast. Welcome to 2020. It's a new year. I only did one of these fucking podcasts last year, and I had a guest, or two guests on that podcast. One of those guests has returned. He is a streamer, YouTuber. He goes by the name Fishkidmal. Me, on the other hand, I know him as my very good friend. Fish, how you doing? Drowning.
Yes, basically. How's it going, everybody?
So what you been up to, man? Fucking
working.
Yeah.
Got a new job, thank Christ. Once everything gets a little more figured out, because like holidays and shit just went by.
Mm-hmm.
Not to date this, but like major holiday. I'm still technically seasonal, so as soon as everything kind of dies down and from what it sounds like, get at least a part-time spot, then I'll be able to figure out streaming stuff, and I'm really excited.
Right on.
I'm excited to get back into it. Oh my lordy.
Yeah, actually, let me put a little disclaimer out there before we actually really get into this. This is being recorded before 2020 happens. Just bear with us on that. So, too much of whatever we're going to be talking about today shouldn't be too dated by the time this comes out. I mean, we're in December already. This will be going up in January. So
that Nintendo 64 release, am I right?
Oh my god. Wait, is that a thing? Is that a thing?
I would imagine that the N64 Classic or whatever the fuck that they're planning on doing would be a thing within the next year or so. I haven't heard any announcements, but like, come the fuck on! Like, what? Nintendo's been shilling this last like year or two, like real hardcore. So yeah.
Well, I think the thing with that is I don't know if we're going to be getting any more classic consoles. I mean, for the reason of it seems like they can never really seem to get the inventory right until like after the fact, you know?
Right.
Like, because I bought both of these. I bought both of the Nintendo Classic consoles that have been released. I bought the NES Classic Edition the day it came out, and I bought the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It was quite a while after the Super Nintendo one came out that I bought that one. But the day that I bought the NES Classic Edition, I went to Target at like fucking 6, 7 in the morning, and there was already so many people in line. Like, I was one of the first few people, but Target only had, I think, if I remember correctly, they only had like 8 or 9 on launch day.
Yeah, no, not a single store had double digits past like 12.
I think Best Buy was the only place that you could go that had like more than 20 but less than 30.
They had like 25 at most.
Yeah, so I go to Target and I'm in line, and they go to hand out the voucher tickets, and literally the person right before me got the last one. I was fucking pissed. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm not giving up on this. So I find a Best Buy nearby, and I go to the Best Buy. There's like nobody at the Best Buy yet. I'm like the third person in line at this place.
Yeet.
By the time the doors are about to open, the line is almost like the line is going like halfway across the length of the shopping center. And this was a big shopping center. You know, they don't typically put Best Buys in shopping centers that, you know, aren't very big. You typically only see them next to like Bed Baths and Beyonds and Ross's and shit like that.
Oh yeah, most of them are like there's got to be some kind of a clothing store. There's got to be some kind of a not convenience store, but like grocery store.
They're usually close to craft stores too. There's almost always a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby nearby, a Best Buy.
Yeah, in fact, the one that I've been going to recently, is between a Walmart and a Tilly's.
Oh, Jesus Christ. An outdoor...
Right?
Wow, a Tilly's not in a mall?
I mean, close enough.
Oh, it's kind of like a plaza situation.
Yes.
Okay.
It is actually the Spectrum East in Chino, I think.
Okay, I know the Spectrum. I know.
Yeah.
I know the mall line that is Spectrums, because I guess malls are franchises now. When did that fucking start is what I want to know. When did
mid to early 2000s, or early to mid, somewhere around there.
When did the mall become a franchisable thing? Because I remember at one point in time, 90% of the time when you were going to the mall, you were just going to the mall, and if you were going to a different mall, you called that mall by its name. For example, fucking, I'm just putting beans out here at this point. Fucking, if you were going to, the Galleria, you would say you were going to the mall, But
yeah, it's
if
like
you were going
it wasn't
to Merino Valley or Ontario Mills, you would say, oh, I'm going to the Merino Valley Mall, or I'm going to Ontario Mills.
Yeah, it's like, and that's actually kind of funny that you mentioned the Galleria, because like nobody says the Galleria anymore. It's either we're going to the Plaza, which is the Riverside Plaza, off of Central, or it's we're heading to Tyler.
See, as far as I knew, not many people really did call it the Galleria to begin with.
I'm a weird dude.
Like,
I mean, look at my usual vocabulary, so yeah. I know I'm one of those people.
So you're one of the people that did call it, or do call it, the Galleria.
I used to. Now I just say I'm heading to Tyler.
Okay. See, what I always referred it to as was the Tyler Mall. That's all I always called it.
Yeah, that's
like, it was the Galleria when I fucking moved to Riverside.
Yeah. You were heading to the Galleria, and then about the time we hit high school, it was we're heading to Tyler or we're hitting the Tyler Mall.
Yeah, exactly. And
because by that point, the Plaza was booming. Yeah, I know, because we were hardcore Plaza rats.
Yeah, I think the reason I became a Plaza rat was because I was a mall rat first,
I couldn't fucking stand the mall.
Because the difference, because like honestly, the only difference between the mall and the Plaza, being a mall rat and a Plaza rat, is you were outside. You know what I mean?
It was the outside that did it for me. Like being stuck around so many fucking people in an enclosed space. Fuck that.
See, I'm still not a fan of the mall for that reason, but I love going to the mall. Like, I'll have a day off and I'll just get fucking bored and I'll be like, you know what? What's a mall I haven't fucking been to in a while? And I'll just go to the mall. I won't buy shit. I apologize to any fucking malls out there. I do not patronize these fucking... Oh, you know what? That's a lie. I do patronize the malls. I don't patronize the stores. I patronize the food stands. Almost every time...
Sponsored by Wetzel's Pretzels in the Galleria at Tyler.
Dude, I fucking wish.
I don't even know if it's a Wetzel's anymore. I think it's Ann's.
It's like Auntie Ann's or some shit like that.
Auntie Ann's, yeah, that's the one.
Well, yeah. I think those two brands actually coexist, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's Wetzel's Pretzels and Auntie Ann's.
I think Auntie Ann's is an in-wall, like an actual food court place, whereas Wetzel's is like a stand near the food court now.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's part of the Kevin Smith's mall rats debate is, are these eateries considered part of the food court? I say no.
If you can, I would argue it's based on location. Because if you are within
to the food court,
yes, because if you're right next to it, you're fine. You're part of the food court, whatever. But if you're on, even if you're on wheels there, that's fine. If you're on wheels and you're on the other side of the fucking mall, like over by the fucking Nordstrom or TJ Maxx or bullshit, whatever.
Those of you who don't know the mall layout we're talking about, just picture any fucking mall in America and just put this image to it.
Fucking that one end of whatever fucking enclosed mall that's got like 2 or 3 floors of clothes and designer bags and bullshit. If you're sitting next to if you're sitting next to a fucking department store or in between a TJ Maxx and a fucking like Spencer's or some shit, no, you're not part of the fucking food court.
Right. But like there's places like honestly I think it is Auntie Anne's in the Tyler Mall where it's not in the food court, but it's like right there. It's built
like, into the adjacent wall. That's fine.
Yeah. So like I think that's what the debate is when does an eatery stop being considered part of the food court? And I think it's once you get within, because in some malls like one that I go to, the food court will kind of extend out into the walkway. Like there's this one mall that I go to. It's a Westfield mall, one of those franchised malls. The whole thing that got this conversation started. Fucking, it's a Westfield mall, and you've got the food court, and then you've got like the bridges that go to the stores on the other side of the food court. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know how malls are. They've got like, it's a big opening and you're kind of like walking along just a gigantic balcony when you're on another floor. Like it's not actually another floor. You're just walking on a giant balcony that just so happens to be on an elevated platform.
Right. By the way, a slight correction. So franchising of malls didn't start becoming mainstream until after we were out of high school. So post 2013.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So it's a very, very recent thing that mall franchising became a thing.
I mean, even if it was over 10 years ago, it'd still be considered recent. At least by some standards.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. See, for me, I'm weird. My limit on recent is 8 years.
It all depends on the conversation, because when it comes to video games, like retro is not obviously retro is not recent, but my retro is further beyond the definition, I guess, quote unquote, the current definition.
Yeah.
But anything closer than that definition, like with 7 to 8 years, yeah, I think would be like recent-ish, and when it comes to like gaming or game consoles or that sort of thing.
In my opinion, if it came out in the mid 2000s, it's not retro.
That's fair.
Like, honestly, I would really honestly go even further and say that if it was released after 2000, I wouldn't consider it retro. I think your console either has to be from the 90s or older at this current point in time. Remember, we are in 2020. So what I basically just said right now is technically moot. Because honestly, because isn't the threshold for cars on retro like 20 years, 25 years or some shit like that?
What? No. The current definition of retro is beyond 10 years of original release.
Is that really what a classic car is considered now, or are we talking gaming still?
I'm still talking gaming. Classic cars, I don't know. I'm not a car person whatsoever.
Okay.
I just know if it's more if it's aggressive looking in the style of within 3 years model Corvette, that's the kind of aggressive look I would like to go for when it comes to a sports car. That is my personal taste. Anything beyond that, I got zero idea.
What about trucks? Like, do you have an opinion on trucks?
I feel like they're not making them like they used to, because what's
no.
it? Fucking I loved Papa's F-150. And that was an early 90s model, late 80s, early 90s model.
Yeah.
And it ran with the best of them. It hauled shit. It hauled the family. it went fucking everywhere.
What do you think of
and
the
I do mean
Cybertruck?
everywhere. And fucking even with family members abuse recently, it's still fucking up and running.
That's awesome.
And yet what was it, like 6 years ago, Toyota had like a massive thing where like there was one model of truck where all of the brakes failed after like 6 months after complete manufacturing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So that's a huge fucking recall right there.
There was a massive recall for
God.
specifically Toyota trucks where all of their brakes would fail.
That's insane.
It's like once you hit a certain threshold for mileage or time after distribution, that was it.
That's absolutely insane.
I mean, hell, even I've got an 07 Chevy Cobalt. All of the Cobalts that were released between 07 and like 08 or 09, all of those models needed an ignition, like an entire ignition swap, because some people were experiencing, and I shit you not, explosive force.
What?
When you turned on your car. Yeah, you would slide your key and you would turn it on. I'm not sure. I just remember getting fucking go for it. Just Chevy Cobalt ignition recall or some shit. I remember getting a notice from our Chevy dealer that said, "Hey, so we've experienced some weird issues with this model ignition system. Yeah, we're gonna have to swap it out."
Hold on. I'm looking at a video right now.
Like, if I remember correctly, those bitches caught fire.
Was it
for whatever fucking reason?
2005 or what year was it?
No, 07 or 08.
07 or 08. Okay.
Yeah, because mine was an 07.
Okay. I can't really find anything right now, but I'll have to find fucking footage of that shit, because that just sounds fucking wild. That just sounds absolutely wild.
If you do send it to me, like I said, like this is what I remember hearing, and the reason for the recall and the swap. Like it was something that took like 20-30 minutes or whatever, like to swap out and be done.
Right.
But there was enough going on and enough damage had taken place that they're like, yeah, this guy has to go like right away, please. Yeah.
That's fucking incredible. I mean, no idea.
I mean, there are other car companies where it's like airbags would go off at weird times, like they were ultra sensitive, or there's like sensors that go out that didn't get picked up by the car's computer, and that would have issues.
Go off at all.
Yeah.
Like in my situation, like I recently got into a car accident. You know about this.
Oh yeah.
The airbag, like everybody was saying that the airbag definitely should have gone off.
Yes.
And it fucking didn't.
Your quarter panel was crushed. Your axle, your front right axle,
my tire rod was destroyed.
Yeah. So the axle was severed. The tire rod was fucked. Your entire tire was like, so if it's supposed to be pointing forward, it was pointing hard right.
Yeah, it was. It was 90 degrees.
Yes, it was a full 90, if not more.
Yeah, or no, it was a 90. Like, you all know the way that a car wheel is supposed to sit. I fucking hope. But the wheel was literally, if you were looking straight forward at the car, you could see the side of the wheel. That's the only way I know how to put this.
Yeah, your hubcap was facing backwards.
Yeah, it was bad, and
Yeah,
all because
your
I hit a
airbag should have
little
gone
itty
off.
bitty call box. Can you believe that? All because I hit this little itty bitty call box. I mean, granted, I was going like 45. I got ran off the road, people. I wasn't fucking hammered, fucking driving like an idiot. I got ran off the road. I should have just hit the fucking brakes and let the bitch hit me, but I fucking tried to avoid an accident. Never try to avoid the accident. It always ends up being 10 times worse.
I don't know. Hospital bills, yo.
That's true. That's very true. But I mean, think about it. I think I got lucky because the airbags didn't go off, honestly. Because, like, I've heard of some just fucked up repercussions from getting hit by an airbag.
Yeah, you can easily get whiplash.
You can get whiplash if your arm is in the wrong fucking place. You can get your arm fucking broken. I guess they put like some kind of fire extinguisher type shit on them, or they
It's
used
a fire
to.
retardant powder. Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you fucking breathe that in, it's gonna fuck up your respiratory system for a couple weeks. So
Get it in your eyes.
Yeah, you
it
get
can
it
fuck
in your
up your
eyes.
your sight.
Like it's like granted, I got lucky in the fact that my accident wasn't so severe that I wasn't hurt, in any way. But if the airbag had gone off, I would have ended up walking away hurt from something that I wouldn't have gotten hurt from. Think about that.
And I mean, our fucking health system's fucked. I mean, like, in what other country? And this is dead serious. I didn't find out about this until the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what other, like, fuck, what was the term for it? Like a first world, what other first world country in the world charges money to a new mother to hold her baby?
That's completely fucking asinine. That is one of the biggest fucking issues.
$40 for skin-on-skin contact.
That's so dumb. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can't even process this.
Yeah. I found that out through a screen, like through a picture of hospital records.
Uh-huh.
And then like 3 days later that video started going viral, where it was like a UK news show talking to people on the street about what they think about not only their healthcare system but also our shit.
Right.
And our shit is fucked.
Dude, our shit is fucked. Like, dude, fucking places that have universal healthcare are doing it fucking right.
Yeah, but then again, they're rich or willing to pay taxes.
Very fucking true. That is very fucking true. We're not going to get into this right now. I smoked a joint.
I will put this out there, though.
Oh, no. We're putting conspiracy bugs out there.
Not conspiracy bugs. Fucking
just shit.
If I remember it correctly, and the initial math is correct, mind you. Not the one who did the math, but if the math was correct, what I saw, Bezos paid in taxes in the double digits last year alone. That's it. Not even broke $100.
Okay. There's something wrong with that. There's
Right?
really some, like, I'm not a very political guy, so to speak, or I don't really speak about it publicly, but I guess I'm going to change that here and now. But that just, there's something wrong with that. Like, there's obviously something wrong with that. How can people not, like, how are people so fucking brainwashed into believing that there's nothing wrong with that.
Because, well, not many people know about it, and the ones who do know about it, everyone else just kind of goes, whatever. Because, like, who's just... It's gotten to a point where, like, so many people are calling fake news on fucking everything that doesn't line up with their social expectations or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
That, like, yeah, that's basically it.
How much does someone on minimum wage pay in taxes every year? Let's find that out real quick.
Yeah, I think my last check I paid like somewhere in the realm of like close to $100 in taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not broke triple digits, but close to that for 2 weeks of pay. And that's at just over $13 an hour.
Yeah.
That's above minimum wage in California.
So, okay, so wait a minute. What was the tax margin? What did you pay in taxes?
For 2 weeks, I paid, I think, almost $100 in taxes and other shit out of my paycheck.
Okay, so with that genuine, real, on paper statistic, let's create an example out of that.
I'm gonna hop onto my my stuff and I can give you exact numbers.
Cool. So, for example, let's say you work for some fucking fast food joint. You know, it's in one of the nicer areas of town, so you make a little bit more. So, and you know, you pay about $100 in taxes every fucking paycheck.
Mm-hmm. So a couple $100 a month.
Now imagine finding out that the guy who owns the company pays $10 in taxes every 2 weeks.
That would piss me off.
Like, for those of you who may be listening to this out there, think about that. Think about how mad you would be. Someone in your position, someone who's barely getting by, someone who's struggling to pay their bills on a monthly basis, working multiple jobs. You're getting taxed out the fucking ass. And if you're working multiple jobs, it's almost guaranteed that the guys that own the thing are making way more than you and are paying way less than you in taxes. The amount that they're probably paying in taxes combined is probably significantly less what you are paying for taxes for receiving those two paychecks. Think about that. Really think about that. That's not right. That's really not fucking right. Anyways, fucking...
Okay, yeah. $99.36 in federal tax.
Mm-hmm.
$10.36 into California disability.
Okay.
$64.25 into Social Security. $15.03 into Medicare, and $17.40 into California state tax.
So total taxes and all?
I'm doing the math, but it's almost 200. It's over 200. Yeah, because what's it? The gross pay for this last check was $1,036.30, and I took home $829.90. So yes, that is $237 plus or minus some change.
Yeah.
In one check. Multiply that by 2, that's $400 and some odd dollars every month.
Multiply that by 12.
So somebody like Bezos paid for the entire year
Double digits.
A tenth of what I have in the last month.
That's
insane.
That should be fucking like.
That should be illegal.
Yeah, that should be fucking illegal. That's not even borderline tax evasion. Like, that's a whole new, that's a whole new fucking term that I don't even fucking know what to call it.
Business owners.
Like, that's just insane. That's absolutely insane. They fucking, Jesus Christ. It's a bad time.
There are smarter people than us who have done the math and who have bigger voices than we. So we'll just agree it's bullshit and continue on.
And just help amplifying it. But anyways, continuing on, something we were talking about before we started the podcast. We were talking about computer parts, specifically processors. And is it okay if I call you by your name?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Mike here said something that really caught my ear. It really intrigued me. And I wanted to bring that up. I literally told him, let's put a pin in this until we get started because this is definitely good podcast talk. But he mentioned something that I never really thought about before. He mentioned that there is consumer electronics and workforce. Is that what you used to describe it?
It's the actual label is enterprise, but yes, it is meant for business workflow.
Right. Now
and or servers.
Okay,
but
so
yes.
And my understanding of this is that this technology is more advanced than what consumers have access to, yes?
Not necessarily. So let me put it to you like this. So like let's say last year we had the Core X series, the i9 Core X series from Intel, which is technically enterprise level. It is not consumer level. It is definitely enthusiast and above. Mm-hmm. So that particular series has 10 core, like possibly 8 core, 10 core and above. There's like the Xeon series, which are specifically server parts that people use for whatever you need a server for, typically.
But you said these fall into like a middle category?
Yeah, those are enterprise.
Okay.
And then consumer products are like, for example, this year what we currently have are like the i9 9900K from Intel, or like the Ryzen 3rd Gen that are currently available. The other stuff like the 3rd Gen Threadripper stuff from AMD is like kind of in a weird middle ground. Technically it's enterprise, but it's also kind of consumer. It's meant for enthusiasts specifically, but it's not within the consumer range, especially for the price.
So what is the difference between a consumer and an enthusiast?
Well, first things first, price.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at 3rd gen, like a top tier 3rd gen Ryzen processor for like a gaming build, say 3900X.
Okay.
That's going to be high. It's going to be around $500, but it still falls within the consumer lineup. Like not your average dude is going to get it, but you know, somebody who's looking to do like all-in-one streaming, gaming, that sort of thing,
somebody who's
would pay the higher premium.
Somebody who's looking to put together a computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's for a wide range of applications.
So not somebody who is actively out there looking for the next best thing, constantly upgrading. This is more for someone who's like, it's it's for your average Joe who wants to build a computer.
That's at the higher end, but yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I think the more budget-friendly one would probably be the 3600X, the Ryzen 5, which is a $250 processor with 6 cores, 12 threads, and a slightly lower TDP, or the 3700X, which is a $330 processor, which is pretty like middle ground when it comes to third gen Ryzen. It's not top of the line, it's not the lowest. It's actually a really good price for performance. It's like the you know how I say the NVIDIA 2070 Super is like the best price performance graphics card that's available right now.
Mm-hmm.
The 3700X up to the 3800X are basically the processor equivalents when it comes to AMD. But then you've got the third gen Threadripper. Now there's only I think there's only 2 SKUs available at the moment. The 3670 or the 3760 no 3960 and the 3970.
Okay.
And those are like, I think 1,000 and 2,000 respectively. Let me look up the core clocks and core counts because it's excessive.
Okay.
Third gen Threadripper. Because like the 3900X or the 3950X are like the highest tier, technically consumer stuff that you can get. Which boasts like a 10 or 12 core, 24 thread altogether processor. These ones are like 26 core, or like 26 core, like 52 thread or even higher kind of processor. So they are insane.
Yeah, so like that leads me into like my main question and why I brought this up. Why is it that consumers can't get access to this stuff?
You can, if you go through the right channels. Like a lot of the stuff is being sold by Newegg. Like Threadripper you can easily get through like Newegg or through Micro Center or like more tech oriented resellers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not gonna pick one of these up at Best Buy. Like that's just
right,
not gonna happen.
That's obviously far outside of the realm of possibility.
But like you can find one of these over at Micro Center locked up in a big ass black cage in the back room, where they've only got like 1 or 2 physically for sale.
Holy
because
crap.
Well, they're $2,000 parts.
Yeah, that is.
If somebody hijacks that and resells that could skyrocket.
Yeah, that's something. That's really fucking something.
But yeah, the biggest thing is like the biggest thing between consumer versus enthusiast versus enterprise. 1 is the price, 2 is the build quality, and 3 are the specs. Because like well, it also depends on like function. Because if you look at graphics cards, the Quadro series, that is a workflow-oriented graphics card. That is specifically, like, tailored for, different visual production. So, like, maybe 3D rendering or, like, game making could be one of them. Fucking AI functions.
Is this one of
like
the,
AI
is this
deep
one of the
learning
ones that
kind of
people
things.
were using to fucking mine bitcoins and shit?
If they spent upwards of $5,000 for a single card just to mine Bitcoin, I would have them institutionalized.
Dude, there were people out there. Like, that's why at one point the fucking price of fucking graphics cards got so high. Because Bitcoin mining was going crazy.
That was the 10 series. That was like the 1070 and the 1080.
Yeah.
Because high CUDA cores and yada yada yada, and you still can't get a decent 1080 Ti for under like $800,
which is criminally
because of that
insane.
bullshit. Right, but also because of that, that's why we have the current generation of graphics cards from NVIDIA with the RTX 20 series. Starting prices are way too high. Now that we've got the supers, they've gone down a bit, or at least have evened out as well as they can.
What's a 20 series going for now at?
So like okay, so they vary depending on like reference card versus custom card, and custom cards are like the reference cards are like the like if you look at the 2060, it's just kind of a your average graphics card, couple of fan blades on it. You know, it does pretty well. The shitty thing is NVIDIA likes to keep their best performing cards to themselves as reference cards, or resell them for like Kingpin, for example.
What is that?
And then Kingpin is a brand that's extremely well known for their overclocking. And they also specialize in exotic cooling, for example, with like liquid nitrogen and, you know, stuff like that. Which is fascinating. To anybody watching who's interested at all with what I have to say, if you're even keeping up, like I get it, I'm a tech nerd, but like if you have any interest in this shit, there's a couple of YouTube channels that I would highly recommend. Paul's Hardware, Bitwit, who they are in each other's videos quite a bit.
He's been doing a lot of live stuff lately.
Yes, they've been doing a lot of live stuff lately when it comes to tech news, and I love it.
Yeah.
They do a lot of review stuff. There's Jay's 2 Cents, who is a no bullshit kind of dude.
I like him.
Which, and he's funny. He's not an asshole, but he's like,
he's an asshole.
He's not an asshole, but he's an asshole.
Yeah. He's like, not an asshole that you want to hate. He's an asshole that you love.
Yeah, he's not the kind of person like, you're a fucking idiot for buying this stuff. It's like, hey, this is what you should know because this is what's going on. And I'm thoroughly disappointed with the company for doing this. That's why they don't like me right now.
Yeah.
Which he actually put out a video recently saying, I'm actually kind of taking shit from everyone except AMD, and that's only because AMD is actually doing good shit. So like,
there was one that really started coming at him recently. We talked about it, I think.
Not him. This is the last one. Gamers Nexus.
That's
Steve from
right.
Gamers Nexus.
Gamers Nexus. Jesus Christ, this shit.
Steve from Gamers Nexus goes above and beyond, which you can tell by the length of his review videos, because for like a single part, he'll have like a 30-minute video, just going batshit when it comes to numbers, when it comes to like different categories like performance, price versus performance, temperatures, the whole 9 yards, depending on what's what. He's also the kind of dude who is very dry with his deliveries, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. He is kind of an no. Oh, but he is kind of an asshole. But he's the kind of guy who's like, these are the facts. Are you sure you want to challenge me because these are the facts?
Yeah.
There is enough information here to shut you up. Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was one where he did a review on an XFX, I think it was a 5700 XT from Radeon, which is like the top of the line card for or top of the line for the newest SKUs for Radeon, and they're good stuff. But the XFX one called I think that the code name for it was like the thick Mark II or some shit.
What the fuck kind of name is that for a piece of hardware?
They're in it for the memes.
That's a name that you give a piece of hardware if you're in the porn industry. Not the tech industry. I mean, at one point they do kind of collide, but we're not going to get into that.
Oh, here it is. The XFX RX 57 XT Thick 3 Ultra.
Thick.
Yes, with
it's
two
thick,
C's.
Guys. You guys want a graphics card that's thick?
Yes, they are in it for the memes.
Hey,
the original one was the Thick 2.
We're hip.
But, like, they got destroyed by Gamers Nexus because, like, he does a whole teardown. You know, checks build quality, and, like, you know, testing thermal pads versus thermal paste, and
that's
you know,
just
like
pandering of the worst kind.
Yeah. So
especially
he tore it down.
Dog shit.
And it was the thermal pad application was poor. The design of the cooler was so bad. Like when it could have had greater contact. It could have covered a more like a greater surface area. You could have added fins to disperse heat better. But no, like a lot of it was plastic, or like some of it was even like steel, which doesn't conduct heat. So you're essentially padding your graphics card to overheat. You're insulating that heat. You're not letting it disperse. And when he called them out on it, like somebody posted a thing in their subreddit saying, "Hey, look, the thing's out. Here's the article. Here's the video." And the guy was answering people's questions in that Reddit thread from XFX. And this dude was just like, "Hey, don't, you know, they've had a problem with us for a while. Don't worry about it. Buy it and test it out for yourself, and you'll see it's a good product."
Wow.
And then when Steve from Gamers Nexus called the XFX PR person or whoever was making those comments out, it was just another shit show. It was amazing.
It went over huge. I saw a little bit of it on Twitter. I saw it and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So I immediately called you and I was like, hey, explain this to me.
And by that point, it was like 3 days after the fact and there was still shit going on. And it was like, oh my God, you gotta read this.
Yeah, and I just, that's what I did that night. I fell down that rabbit hole and fucking just watched. Like, cause like, it's so funny to just watch certain drama unfold. Cause it's like, makeup community drama, you know, sometimes I enjoy that, but when it comes down to, you know, you're just trying to assassinate someone's character, nah, I'm out. You know, gaming community drama always seems to just start out bad. It always just starts bad.
And it only gets worse.
Yeah, but tech community drama is funny.
Oh, it's hilarious because it's so fucking petty.
Yeah, it's petty, and especially because, you know, it's not like, I'm not sure if Intel is one of these companies, but like, it's not often that you get into a Twitter war with a company as a whole.
No, Intel does not get into a Twitter war. They just send angry emails to people saying, you know, like, How dare you insult our product like that? Like we're like making a threat, like, oh, we're taking you off of the product list for next year.
Oh fuck! Are we gonna get threatened with that? Stop talking shit about our product, or we'll smash your computer that has an Intel processor inside. Yeah, that's right. How do you feel about smashing my computer now? Bet you don't feel too good about it. You haven't done it yet, but anyways,
it's like, if you pay money for a thing, you have the right as
criticism
as the buyer to criticize a product.
Yeah. I'm not going to get all Karen about it and fucking call up your customer service line unless the product is a genuine piece of shit. But this processor's good. I like it. Thanks.
And even better, the people who receive stuff for free just because, I can see where they would have like a sense of like, oh, I kind of got to be nice because whatever. But if you're getting stuff for review,
then you can't be biased.
Exactly.
It's not like it's, I mean, that's a really weird fucking thing too about like the, you know, YouTube content right now. Like when it comes to sponsored content, like there's a lot that sponsors like really try to they try to control your opinion almost. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like it's like, I'm not saying that like they are like all of them are for sure doing it, but I know for a fact some of them probably are.
God.
You know, like some of these gaming companies. You can't tell me that at least not some of them aren't fucking somewhat twisting people's arms to say good things about games. I got accused of it a lot during Black Ops 4 on Reddit.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Because you were enjoying it, or like because you didn't conform to the notion that like this game and therefore its community is shit?
It was mostly because I was a fan of the game. I liked the game. Like, I literally, like, I would post something on the fucking zombies subreddit, and if it was positive, it would get downvoted immediately. It would just get downvoted to hell.
Yeah.
You post something on the
That's
Black
fucked.
Ops 4 subreddit that's positive, you get downvoted to hell. You comment something positive, you get downvoted to hell. Like, it's absolutely fucking insane. Like, dude, but then again, Reddit is just not a good place to try to, you know, express an opinion of any positive nature, I guess.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, because I was reading a fucking subreddit before the Spider-Man PS4 game came out, and it was kind of just like a general Q&A thread of like questions about the game.
Uh-huh.
And someone made a comment, and they were like, "Is there going to be online play in this game?" And I commented back. I was like, "No online play. But what would be kind of cool is if there was like a multiplayer mode that they called Spider-Verse mode, and you could team up with your buddies who also had the game and go fucking kick ass as a team of Spider-Men."
Yeah, I mean, even like there are so many different challenge-based quests in that game. Like for example, there is specifically a set of challenge missions, where I forget the enemy's name, but they're like, they kind of mock influencers and like live streamers or that sort of thing. And her entire gimmick is like, you show up, you do some challenges, you try and like get a high score or whatever, or try and beat a score threshold to get, you know, a rating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just beating on baddies or doing some stealth or just kind of whatever. You're not just doing a challenge mission, you're doing a tailored challenge mission. And it was fun. It was fine. Something like that, I think, would actually be a lot of fun with friends, or like even just having a leaderboard to see if like your friends do better than you and like you want to retake it to try and get a better score or whatever. Like that would be fun.
See, I think it would be fucking cool to like have a feature where, you know, you can go out and, you know, they could treat it like an MMO. You know, they could do events like, oh, hey guys, fucking Moreland's gonna be here in a few weeks. We need as many of you as possible to come fight this asshole. You know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Like, that would be fucking dope shit. And I made a suggestion like that on this fucking comment, and I got absolutely fucking shit on for it. Get your fucking stupid multiplayer Fortnite kid bullshit out of here. And I'm like, wow, you seem very offended by it's just a suggestion, you know? Fucking.
What's even better is that was targeted at you for a multiplayer suggestion when there was somebody literally asking if there was multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna roast one person for it, roast the other ones, or better yet, just don't do that shit in general.
No, I'm a corporate shill. I worship these companies and their microtransaction ways. Just because I don't, just because I don't bitch about them or I don't find anything, I do find things wrong with them, but I know that sitting there and endlessly complaining about it isn't going to change a giant company's mind. It didn't work with EA. I mean, it kind of worked with EA, but it didn't really work with EA. It still isn't working with EA, and it didn't work with Activision. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that it kind of worked with Activision because the new Modern Warfare, it has like no microtransactions whatsoever, I guess.
And all of their stuff so far has been free.
Yeah,
like their battle pass, their DLCs.
Oh, there's a battle pass now?
Yeah, they've got a season thing going on right now that
I haven't fucking played in so long.
We should really hop on soon enough, but or hopefully soon. But yeah, like the new shipment map shipments came out. There was there's a classic Modern Warfare map that was remastered for this one.
Oh, another one?
Yeah, it's the one with the busted up helicopter in the middle.
Fuck, I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name though.
It actually works like pretty fucking well.
Is
on
Kill House on this game already?
Might be. I don't know, but yeah. So like Activision, maybe EA. Like is only getting their shit straight with stuff like the newest Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order, because Disney themselves are like, hey, you keep pulling this shit, we're gonna pull your licensing. You know what, fuck it, we're gonna pull your licensing anyways.
Well, yeah, and Respawn, the people who made Fallen Order, straight up told them, you can have your fucking name on the game, you can have your fucking logo and shit on the game, but this is our game. We're not letting you ruin this.
It's like that. It's like that weird uncle that comes for Thanksgiving. It's like, you can come by, but like, this my shit. but yeah, no, but if there's one thing that we've learned this year, it's that online bullying works. I mean, look at Sonic.
Okay, that's not online bullying.
That's Twitter flaming until they did something.
But that wasn't Twitter flaming it. That was Twitter telling them, you fucked up.
By flaming them.
I mean, yes, there was a good chunk of it that was flaming, but I really think that a big part of what got them to actually change the fucking movie was the fact that people told them straight up, you fucked up. Nobody is actually going to want to see this movie. I would dare to say that Sonic is probably in the top 5 of most recognizable video game characters.
Oh god. Fucking Link, Mario, Sonic. Sonic. I would personally argue Mega Man.
Yeah, I would say.
Then again, that one's debatable.
Mega Man's not exactly a first-party property, though.
No, but anyone from our generation or older, when the games first came out, the design is instantly recognizable.
Absolutely.
For newer generations or newer gamers, maybe not, but yeah, like Mario for sure.
And especially because
Sonic.
they're keeping Sonic relevant by putting him together with Mario all the time with these Mario and Sonic games. They just came out with one.
Oh yeah, there's an Olympic Games one on the Switch right now.
I want to get it, actually.
like Tokyo 2020 or something.
Yeah, I kind of want to get it.
Isn't that what's actually happening? Tokyo 2020?
Yeah, they announced it. I think the way that they announced it, fucking 4 years ago, the way that they do this is like they had a guy in a Mario suit, like a Mario mascot suit, come out. Like, it's like the reason why people are hyped for the 2020 Olympics is because, or I should say this year's Olympics, is because it's in Tokyo, and they've already shown that, like, there's gonna be some gaming love thrown in.
Yay. The weeb gamers are becoming mainstream.
Hey, I honestly could give a shit. Fucking... If it labels me a weeb, it labels me a weeb.
But, yeah, fucking...
It's with these labels, man.
Good God.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. There's some good fucking... Dude, the Switch is a great fucking console. Let's talk about that.
Okay, I'll start off with saying I was shit-talking it like the entire announcement period.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
I was
You don't remember?
I don't think we were really talking very much during the announcement period.
That's right. Oh my God, I was shit-talking it so much.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was like, so what, it's a fucking tablet with a couple of Wiimotes slapped onto it? What kind of bullshit is this? It's like, I was shit-talking it real bad.
Wow.
Like real bad.
No, dude,
like
I was
to the point where
all the way.
to the point where I was like, fucking the 10-year-olds that are hyped for this need to grow the fuck up.
Oh man. You were... I feel like you were
I was
in a bad
mean.
place.
Yes. That okay. Let me look at the announce date.
And fucking that'll recall the trauma. Keep the thing.
Recall the trauma.
Yeah, recall the trauma. Fucking while you're recalling the trauma, I gotta pee.
I am back. Hello, friend.
Did you go for a piss as well?
I did.
Gotcha.
But yeah, okay. So getting back to it.
Yeah,
so I looked it up.
Trauma.
Yes, recalling trauma. The Switch was unveiled in October 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Now
my 20s then.
Now 2016. Actually, I need to cross-reference that with Pokemon Go's release.
That was back in
That
June.
was July.
Oh, July.
2016.
I had the beta, so it was June for me.
Okay. So, oh yeah, I did the beta as well. So I got it June. Okay. So, oh God. So going from October until roughly the release of Pokemon Go was the transitionary period of me saying, you really need to fuck off to my ex. And the time after that, going into Thanksgiving, I think, of that same year of 2016 was, if I recall correctly, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a content warning out there, viewer or listener discretion advised. That there will be, if you're okay with it, some talk of some pretty harsh themes like suicide, for example.
Oh no, dude, fucking talk about it. I feel like talking about this kind of shit helps people, getting it out there, encouraging them to get help.
Yeah, so I'm just putting that little disclaimer out there for everybody listening.
I'll put a timestamp on the screen to skip to when we're done talking about this.
Okay, so at that point, I was in such a low spot just because of not only having to deal with not only my relationship ending, going through the bullshit for over a year past that, but also my work life being like coming to a point where it's like I'm not living to work, I am working to live. Now my job needs to reflect that. Because I was stuck in just such a heavy, shitty workspace, constant travel, like not eating right, not paying attention to myself, just work.
Never being home almost. Because I remember during those points in time, I would hit you up to play video games, and you'd be like, I can't, man. I'm in fucking
Arizona, more than likely.
ABC. Because there was a few places that you went pretty consistently during that period of time.
Yes, and that was typically Vegas, Phoenix, and actually just like Phoenix and the surrounding area.
Okay.
And then like Ventura or Oxnard, like over like far west SoCal.
I hate to deviate from the current line of focus, but did you do anything while you were in those places, or like were you just working, or did you ever get time to like fuck around while you were in those places? Like Vegas, I feel like I probably would have like fucking made time to fuck around there.
I went from my hotel room to work. I worked. I came back to my hotel room. I did my paperwork for the night. I went to sleep, woke up, went to work.
Fuck. That blows. Are you fucking kidding? That just would have sucked.
And when I did have days off, I was too depressed to go anywhere.
Yeah. I could understand that.
I couldn't get the energy to get out of bed. The only reason I did get out of bed is, well, I got work. I got a paycheck I need to figure out.
Yeah. Which is fucked up.
And like I didn't make any time. The only time that I was able to make, and I actually started fucking getting better with it, was when one of my best friends in this world, Chris, fucking he fucking joined me on this shit. He needed money too and didn't mind the travel, and it was him being paired up with me all the goddamn time. So yeah, I got to travel some of the states with my best friend, which like the job itself was grating on both of us, but hey, at least we had somebody that we were comfortable around.
At least there was a familiar face to help you pass the time.
Exactly. He was the one who made time to go out and do stuff. I was just kind of in bed.
I get you on that. I kind of had that kind of friendship with someone for a while. I don't talk to them anymore, but it was actually the person who eventually ended up bringing me up here to Washington.
Gotcha.
For for not wanting to name names, we're just gonna call him Brian. Me and I used to live with this guy Brian at his place in Corona, and we, for the most part, all we would do for most of the day is just sit around on our laptops. He would more than likely be playing Guild Wars. I would be sitting there trying to figure out how to hack Pokemon ROMs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I don't really have any of the skills anymore, mostly because I can't get the tools anymore, because they're all, anywhere you can get them from now, they're all virus riddled and shit. But you know, I was always the one being like, "Hey man, let's go out. Let's fucking go do some shit, even if it's just fucking going and driving around and some shit, or fucking picking up one of our stupid ass friends and just bullshitting with them all night. Let's go fucking do something. And we'd fucking get up, get in the truck, and go fucking do something. So I know I kind of get like the like where he was at on, you know, fucking being the motivated one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah,
continue
so
on.
It was just fucking bad, because like there was so much of that going on that like I was ready. I had a spot picked out. I had the means. I had a method, and I made sure to do as much research as possible to figure out how to go start to finish. One, without anyone finding me, or two, if they did, it was too late for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts. And the spot that I had picked out was in the desert.
Ooh.
Like in a long stretch of desert along the 10, couple miles off of the main freeway, that same fucking freeway that I drove every other fucking week to go to a job that I hated.
Jesus Christ. And what happened? What made you change that? Was it him getting involved with you? Like in getting into the work with you?
Him being with me and going through a lot of stuff definitely helped.
Uh-huh.
But I think ultimately, like in the back of my head, I know I always had the thought of like, there's so much better shit. Why are you like this?
Right.
Which is the suckiest part of like having a mental illness like that.
Yeah, the real you
like,
is literally trapped inside your own head,
and you know it.
Yeah.
And it's like that helpless feeling that just, it sucks. It is the worst fucking feeling, because you know there's no reason for this, and yet there's like something about you that you just cannot control that.
Yeah, the part of you that wants it to happen for some reason is at the wheel.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
And trust me, he tried real hard. There was one day in particular where I just hadn't talked to anybody. You know, I didn't really want to. It was like, I don't want to burden anybody. Made sure that everyone who was at the house was actually gone, going to whatever event they were going for, and I just cried. I just cried for like 2 straight hours.
Jesus.
It was awful. Like that was it, and that was the moment that I said, I'm done. I'm ending it.
Right.
And thankfully I didn't. And I think the time where I had that realization, that like, this isn't what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, that this isn't what I want to do, was actually at a job site. So
really,
we were working for a nondescript pet store. We were getting stuff. Rearranged. You know, having to move aisles around and reset
this
product.
Isn't the story I thought it was going to be. So, whew.
Nah. So we were getting stuff ready, and what usually happened was there was this big ass steel bar with a couple of forks on it. You would get it under one of the feet. You would prop it up. You'd stick basically a plate with a bunch of giant ball bearings under it. Do that for every foot on the aisle and just slide the aisle out of the way. It was the most insane shit ever.
Christ almighty.
So it was the safest way to do any of that, and you could do it with product on it. But when you got to the point of the store where it had like all the cat food, all the canned cat food, and all of that shit, all the small heavy items, that shit added up. So you have to clear out like half of the aisle just to make sure that there's enough weight to keep it from sliding around too much, but not enough weight that it's going to fucking fall apart.
Jesus Christ.
And these feet were fucked. But we didn't know that. So we got the left side of the aisle lifted, got that all set, got the right side of the aisle lifted, and then as I'm sitting there, or as I'm like bent low, taking stuff off of the base stacks to make sure that we had enough weight off, the whole thing buckled.
Oh shit.
And the aisle came down on me.
Oh fuck.
And about 4 other people. It got stopped before it went all the way over, and we recovered. We replaced the feet. Everything is fine. There were no damages to the store. We already had stuff to replace the shit, so that was already part of our job. So like everything's good. But I sat there looking up at this mountain of fucking canned cat food about to come down on my head, which is 1,000 fucking pounds, if not more.
Yeah.
That will kill me. And going, I thought it would end different. And that scared me.
Yeah.
That honestly scared me.
I think that would scare anybody, honestly.
Because there's a difference. There actually is a decent difference between having the thought of like, that's it, and actually being face to face with that possibility. And when I became face to face with the possibility that I could die and I was okay with it, that did not sit right with me.
Yeah.
So I already had a plan of finishing out the last couple months of the year, you know, saving up some money, quitting this fucking job, and moving on. And although I didn't get to save up as much as I had intended, and it didn't hit the threshold, I was planning on about April. Right. For quitting. This past April.
Mm-hmm.
The end of January came around, and I remember my boss calling me after getting back from a severe
reaming
trip.
Oh.
No, like fucking, hey, go, like, we need you to drive straight through, like no stop or rest or whatever, straight through to Georgia for a job. Finish that job not in the specified amount of time, but actually a week prior, and then drive straight back. And that about killed me. Like, I'm not joking. Yeah. That about killed me.
That just sounds fucking insane.
And then, like, home 12 hours and, we need you in Arizona tomorrow. Went down there, got the job done, came back, and I said, it's been like a week and a half since I got back, and I'm still feeling just as awful. And fucking one of the guys that went on the trip had fucking stomach ulcers from stress.
Jesus Christ.
Which shows how bad those conditions were mentally, which then became physically.
Right.
And then I got a call from my boss saying, we need you in New Mexico. Let's say it was like, I think it was like a Tuesday at like 4 p.m., like 2 hours after I got home.
Uh-huh.
And they're telling me I need to be there Thursday morning by 7 a.m. at whatever store I needed to go to working on that job. And I said, so what you're telling me is you want me to go to sleep now, drive all night and part of tomorrow morning to get to New Mexico in time, which is like a 14 hour drive.
Right.
I was like, I'm feeling ill. I'm trying to figure out an appointment with a doctor. I cannot make that. My health is actually on the line. I cannot do that. They said, okay, that's fine. Hung up. And within an hour, I got a call from HR saying, hey, so you're refusing work and we need to know what's going on.
Oh my God.
Told them what happened and they go, oh, okay, well, we'll get some stuff figured out and we'll stay in contact. Like that Thursday morning at like 6, I got a call saying, hey, are you in New Mexico? I said, no, I'm trying to figure out doctor stuff. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, by all intents and purposes, you quit because you refused work. Don't bother trying to pick up unemployment, and yeah, you're fired. Bye. And just hung up.
Wow.
But let me tell you, as soon as as soon as that last little boop, boop happened, when I hung up, I breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Got a shower and felt amazing.
Yeah. I would have just felt free.
It's like every physical ache, pain, and whatever was causing me to like lose everything I had over that last week in just a fiery torrent of ow was then immediately gone.
Wow.
It was like the Lord came down, socked me in the back of the head and said, "You're cured." And that was that. Like nothing after that. And it was freeing.
Oh my god. But moral of the story, kids, is fucking just because shit seems rough now doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. You just got to power through.
Also, fuck whatever anyone else tells you. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself. If you feel like you need to risk your personal health in order to do a job,
please don't.
Yeah, man. Like, I hope your employer would understand, but I get that there are some out there that don't. I've worked for them. I get it.
Oh, and get this.
I mean, shit. I don't do this for a living, so there's probably some point in the future where I'll be working for a few others.
Thankfully, the employer that I have now is so much better. I actually enjoy talking to my coworkers. It's so nice.
That's always a good fucking thing.
And you know what's amazing? The previous employer, I got a notice from, I believe, the Supreme Court about a class action lawsuit against the company.
Really?
Uh-huh. No action required unless you want to not be a part of this. And I'm like, nah, fam, keep me on that fucking list.
Yeah.
Which, like, really sucks, because, like, my boss was great. Like, he was ex-military and he was kind of crass.
Like your boss.
Yes. Not my well, less my boss and more my immediate supervisor, the one who I was answering to the most on site.
Gotcha. Okay, no, I completely understand that situation. That's what it was like when I worked at the vape shop.
So, like, my foreman, I guess you could say, was great. We didn't always see eye to eye. He was kind of crass. He was ex-military.
But he was a good guy.
But he was a good dude. You could, like, you may have differing opinions, but at least you could fucking talk. The guy that actually hired me, which is, like, I think third highest in the company and actually, like, is the owner's, like, little brother or some shit. Like, the CEO's little brother or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, no, that motherfucker abuses that shit.
Wow.
Like, he abuses his position. And it's like, oh, well, he fucking... I heard from somebody, like, after I got fucking kicked.
Shit canned.
That it was like, that sucks, you know, you wouldn't have to deal with him after, like, June. He's retiring. And it's like, well, that's true. But at the same time, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly how they look at it.
The damage is done.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck cares by now? And I really do hope that they got somebody better and, like, shit's actually working out. Because I know some people who are still working for them. I don't, like, they're not people that I hang out with or talk with on the regular. But, you know, still,
they don't
still see posts from them of eventual, or every now and again. But yeah, exactly. They don't deserve that bullshit. And if they're going to be sticking around like my supervisor did, it's like, I really hope that fucking, like, the human resources end of things is much better.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But the best part is that it's being taken care of. It's actually being looked into, and I think that's fucking awesome.
And although I haven't met the person that enacted the lawsuit, I know their name by reputation.
Okay.
So that kind of shows how high up they were on the chain and still went, fuck that.
That's fucking beautiful. And on that very beautifully karmic note, that is going to be all from us here tonight on the Derailed podcast. I'm sure I will have Mike back very soon. But before we go, what do you got going on for this year, man? What is the plan for Fish in 2020?
The plan for Fish in 2020 is hopefully getting a more consistent schedule, because at the moment I'm getting consistent hours, but I'm not getting consistent time frames, which I'm hoping early on in the year I'll be able to get a more consistent like time frame schedule, and I'll be able to start streaming more. So there's that.
Okay.
I'm also hoping to save up for a new rig. So if I do start streaming again or start making videos, which I would like to do as well, then there should be a bump in quality, a bump in just personality. I'm hoping, because I'm in a much better spot.
Yeah.
And just overall a more enjoyable experience. That's really all I'm going for.
That's fucking awesome. Well, it's, as always, we always fucking have long conversations like this, but as always, it's been a fucking joy just fucking bullshitting with you. And thank you guys for fucking listening to the Derailed podcast, and we will see you next time.
Laters.